happening, y'all? Welcome to Straight Shootin' alongside AJ Riley. I'm Matt Basson. Got a big show, MLB, NFL, Masters. Before we dive into that, gotta remind you, like and subscribe wherever you can find us. Be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. We all over the place. All right, AJ, let's get it.
Well, hold on, Matt. Before I want to say a nice and hearty welcome back, my
Thank you.
man.
Thank you.
2 shows away at that undisclosed location we talked about last week. Don't want to let anybody in too close to, the life and all that, but we are glad you're back. I do want to give a shout out to Dylan Bear, who covered for you and did an awesome job helping me get Straight Shootin' episodes 9 and 10 up. So Dylan, thank you very much. But Matt, like you said, we have a huge week starting today.
Yep.
Opening day in MLB, opening round of the Masters, and a ton of football and basketball stuff to get to. So, man, let's go.
Yeah. Biggest news for me, one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, back on the field. Maybe not where you expected. It's been a while since this man has played a little bit of football, but Terrell Owens, I don't know why he pronounced it that way, but he does. Terrell Owens is back to playing football. He has joined your man, your favorite quarterback, AJ, Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel, in the fan-controlled football league. The last time T.O. stepped on a football field, it was for the Bengals in 2010. He caught 72 passes for 983 yards and 9 touchdowns. And then he was just gone. And he didn't want to be gone. He made that quite evident and obvious. He wanted to keep playing. He still wants to keep playing, AJ.
He's 48 years old, man. 48 years old. And my man, you've seen the video of him racing Tyreek Hill and keeping pace with Tyreek Hill, too. He's a physical specimen. There's no doubt about it. And at 48 years old, to jump into this fan-controlled league. Now, unfortunate for him, they're saying his quarterback is going to be Johnny Manziel, so he's probably not going to put up the numbers that you would expect Terrell Owens to put up. But my goodness, I couldn't imagine at 35 trying to play any kind of sport. But my man, at 48 years old, and 12 years ago, he put up those numbers at 36. Maybe...
Look,
I don't know, man. Maybe he ages backwards like Benjamin Button.
There you go.
My goodness, I couldn't imagine getting on a field and jumping in and being like, yep, let's go. 48 years old. I'm almost half of a century old.
I still don't understand why no team has wanted this man as their third or fourth wide receiver over the last decade, because I'd have taken him in a heartbeat. I know you don't want me calling football plays with the offense that I threw out there the other day, AJ.
Yeah, I know.
But I would love to have T.O. playing wide receiver for my team as the fourth wide receiver, the third wide receiver. I'd be fine with it. Man's going to catch touchdowns in the red zone. He's going to get a little bit of separation. Hey, with the Lions, we had Kenny Golladay. That man couldn't get separation to save his life. Still worked out all right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, it would almost be a gimmick at this point, though, I think.
Yeah, who cares? Right? You gonna sell tickets? Is it gonna sell tickets?
It might. It might sell tickets, and there's no reason why some of those worst teams, like a Washington Commanders, couldn't throw out a bone and be like, "Hey, T.O., come put your shenanigans on our sideline and see what happens." I just would be I would be hesitant. The ability is probably slightly diminished a little bit at 48 years old.
48?
Imagine, but I just wonder if kind of the sideshow distraction that he was might have been hesitant, made teams hesitant to sign him over the last 12 years. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It's definitely a possibility, but he wasn't really a sideshow in his hot time in Buffalo. And I don't remember him being much of a sideshow his last year with the Bengals. Yes, the Cowboys, absolutely.
They had Ocho Cinco, though. They didn't need another sideshow. He could kind of sit back and just be T.O. and catch touchdowns, 9 of them. And I love Ocho Cinco. I thought he was an incredible talent and so much fun and so much.
He was very entertaining.
He was.
And wasn't the smartest football player, man. We learned that when I was my years working in Boston, and when he joined the Patriots, man could not understand the Patriots playbook to save his life, which is why he didn't do much of anything, which is why most people probably don't even remember that he joined the Patriots.
Yeah,
but
I actually had forgotten until you just said
definitely
that.
an entertaining football player, just like T.O. Little fall off for Owens. If you haven't heard of this league, I don't blame you. The Fan Controlled Football League is a professional indoor league. It's 7-on-7. The reason it's called fan controlled is because it is. Fans can call plays online. There's no kickoffs. There's no kicking, period. It's a 50-yard field. You start on the 10-yard line. You go 40 yards, you score a touchdown. And when you score a touchdown, you want to get that point after. It's one-on-one wide receiver versus defensive back for the PAT. And if you want to watch T.O. play football again, it starts April 16th. You can watch it on Twitch, NBCLX, and Peacock.
All right.
All right, now on to the big boys on Sunday.
Yeah. The real football league.
So, AJ, we had talked the other day about how the Diggs brothers kind of sort of wanted to play together, or at least the defensive Diggs brother playing for the Cowboys wanted to play with his brother. Well, he's going to have to go to Buffalo if that's going to happen, because Stephon Diggs and the Buffalo Bills have agreed on a 4-year extension for $104 million, 70 of which is guaranteed.
What is going on with these numbers and
Wide
these
receivers,
wide
baby.
receivers, my man? Like, my goodness. We are investing important quarterback dollars in a position that just is not that important. Yes, he is one of the best in the league. I'm not negating that, and I'm glad that he got his bag, and I'm glad that he's getting paid. Good for him. But to team build with that type of contract on your books, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. Like, my goodness, $104 million with 70 of it guaranteed. Holy cow. That's crazy. Crazy money.
This is coming from a baseball fan, folks.
I know.
So he is now there until 2027. This was an extension, not a brand new contract. He had 2 years left on his original contract. So now until 2027 for a total of $124 million. And apparently from the talks, both Buffalo and Stephon Diggs want him to retire a Bill. So they are planning on keeping him for a while. They just signed Josh Allen till 2028. So you've got your wide receiver quarterback combo all set up. The running game situation, not so hot. Still suffering. Could have put some money into finding a running back. Guess that wasn't the case. They wanted to make sure that they continue to add to the ridiculous wide receiver offseason of Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, and now Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, good for them that they have 2 players locked up till 2027. But, I mean, how else are you going to build this team with a salary cap? You got a ton of money wrapped up into a wide receiver and a quarterback. You now have to address and basically bargain shop for a running back. And we saw how well that's gone with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss there. Like, not well. Who are you going to get to catch? Like, you have one receiver, Stephon Diggs, and they have others, right? They had Emmanuel Sanders last year. They had, was it Dalton Knox was their tight end? Or
Yeah, their tight end.
Yeah, their tight end was Knox. Like,
they had Cole Beasley, but I believe he's gone now.
Cole Beasley, yeah. So, like, who are you now going to put around Stephon Diggs, because you can't throw him the ball every play?
I mean, he'd like it.
Sure, he would. But
you're talking about a guy that has, in his last 2 years in Buffalo, 230 catches. He ranks top 10 in receptions, yards, and touchdowns since joining the Bills. Only Devontae and Cooper Kupp have more catches than Stephon Diggs in the last 2 years. So he's perfectly fine having every pass thrown to him.
Yeah, he is, but you're not going to win that way.
No.
And truthfully, like, signing a wide receiver to that contract and having your quarterback locked up as well, you've essentially put a hard end date on your competition window, because at some point those bills are going to come due. No pun intended. Right. And if you don't,
no pun intended.
Maybe a little bit, but if you don't win it all, like, what was it worth?
You got a lot of entertainment.
Sure, maybe, but you want championships, and entertainment doesn't necessarily equal championships. Ask T.O. about that one.
No, very true. But, the Bills have had, quarterback wide receiver connections that didn't win, but were very entertaining. The beginning of the 90s, Andre Reed was a heck of a wide receiver, had a pretty good quarterback throwing to him as well. Went to 4 Super Bowls, couldn't win any of them. But so Buffalo's kind of used to having a really good quarterback, really good wide receiver, winning a lot of regular season games, couple playoff games, but never taking the whole thing home. So this
It's
is right
just
in the wheelhouse.
yeah, it's just going to be real interesting to see how these contracts age, especially for the wide receivers, because I mean, it can be a very sharp drop off
Mm-hmm.
when Father Time
And Diggs is 28.
rings his bell. Yeah, I
He's
mean,
not old. He's not old, but
not old, but
31, 32, they start looking at you a little different as a wide receiver and a running back.
yeah, I just
Quarterbacks are fine at 31, 32.
look.
But wide
I
receivers and
like
running backs, they start
Stephon
getting
Diggs.
that side-eyed.
I like Stephon Diggs. He plays the wrong position for this kind of money.
Yep.
The wrong position for this kind of money.
All right. Well, the
I,
right position for this kind of money is quarterback, correct?
it is.
Well, there's one out there that's been in the news for a while, and he's back in the news for the same stuff that he's been in the news with.
Oh,
A district, let's see what we got here. The Harris County District Court Judge, Rabia Sultan Collier, God, because they have found a more difficult judge name to say, has ruled that Deshaun Watson must say whether he had sex with 18 massage therapists. He has to do it. He has to talk. I don't know how they're going to know if he's telling the truth. I'm going to walk right up there and lie his ass off and say, no, I did not. But he has to go up there and talk about it, apparently.
well, I mean, in his introductory press conference for the Cleveland Browns, when he made, they made that trade for him and then signed him to a ridiculous amount of money as well. He said, I never have treated women disrespectfully and never,
Raised by his grandma and
yeah. Look, you can assume that he is going to do the right thing, but let's be honest. You can order him to say whether he did or not do what he's accused of doing. Whether or not you get the truth is going to be completely I almost want to say irrelevant, right? It's almost one of those situations where the judge is like, I did my part, check, right? What happens after this? Not my problem. I did my part. I checked the box. I forced him to say whether he did or not. Now, could they put him on a lie detector? Maybe, but are they very reliable? Who knows?
No, there's a
So,
reason they're inadmissible in court.
right.
They were that reliable, they'd be very much admissible.
So I just really am wondering, like, what's the end goal with this, right? What was the judge hoping to accomplish?
Justice, man. The judge wants justice. Look, you got
Okay.
22.
And I want $1
women.
million tomorrow, but
It's
it ain't
insane.
gonna happen.
But I mean, you got 22 different women who have
Right.
accused Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct, many of which he arranged by contacting them via social media. And so one of the things the judge wants Watson to talk about is any language in his contract with the Texans about massages, because you figure there'd be something in there about the team providing one or whatever it may be. Look, this man's going through DMs in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, and trying to find massage therapists that way. To me, that already sounds guilty. That just ain't a good look. But 2 grand juries have declined to indict him. Why? Well, it's really hard to prove evidence.
Right.
How do you
And
provide
that's the
evidence
thing,
for
right?
this unless you happen to have done a rape kit at the hospital and they saved DNA? It's really hard to provide any kind of evidence one way or the other. And so it really is their word versus his. You figure with 22 of them versus one of him, and all their stories are similar, unless all these women knew each other and they decided, hey, let's take this man for his money.
Right.
You kind of lean towards they're probably telling the truth.
Yeah, but again, it's such an unfortunate situation. Like, if what the plaintiffs are saying is correct, how unfortunate, first of all, right? But then you take it a step farther to saying this is very difficult to prove, and all it is going to remain allegations, because let's be honest, right? We fast forward a year, there's not going to be any proof. There's not going to be
Unless someone had a
anything.
hidden camera.
Right. And so it's just one of those situations that is incredibly unfortunate. And it's really, really, I'm really surprised that the Browns did what they did, given the inconclusive nature of this situation, to bring him on board. Now, look,
Like
they
we
had
talked
their
about, though,
reasons.
that
They
first
had
year,
their
that first year is $1 million. They set it up on purpose this way. They knew they were getting into some shady stuff and
yeah,
protected themselves and their quarterback from it.
which yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird and it's so unfortunate. And I look at like this and I'm like, listen, good for the judge for doing what they did, but at the same time, what what's going to come of this? I like all it is kicking down the can down the road farther, and it's just creating more of a kind of circus in a way because he's got 30 days to comply, right? So
Right.
he has those 30 days. I'm sure that he's working with his lawyers right now to create the statements that he is going to say, to and that he's not admitting anything.
Of course not. Why would
But
he?
if he I mean, and what happens if he does, right? Self-incrimination, like, what I mean, all he has to do is plead the 5th at this point, right? He doesn't have to testify against himself according to the Constitution. So I don't know. I, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, right? So I don't want to speak to it, but I do teach history and kind of understand how the Constitution was written. And it seems like in a situation like this, he could very easily say, "I plead the 5th."
Well, so trying to
You know
read
what I
through
mean?
this whole thing, the verbiage on this is saying that, because he can still face civil suits, but as part of
Sure.
these lawsuits, the women's attorneys want Watson to answer written requests for admission about whether he had sex with the 18 therapists who backed him after the first lawsuits against him were filed in March of last year. So is that talking about other therapists who are like behind him?
That's what it sounds like. Like, when you read that, it sounds like there were 18 other therapists that are not part of the accusations that are like, "No, he never did that," and or whatever, and they're wanting to kinda see if he did have, relations with them to I think I read that it said they're looking to hope or they're hopefully trying to establish a pattern, right? So, I don't know. I mean, the messy just got messier, in my opinion, with this whole ruling. It's just one of those things that's like, okay, what are we gonna do? How's this gonna play itself out?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out he got 30 days to comply. So,
Yep,
all
we'll
right,
know by
that's
draft
enough.
time.
That's enough football. We got opening day right around the corner. AJ, our Tigers been busy in the off season, stayed busy, been busy up until these last few days, thanks to a rough
Brilliant.
injury for one of our young stars.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
mean, it sucks. Riley Green going down with a fractured foot. Alavila
I'll be
wasting no time finding a way to fill that hole in the outfield as they acquired outfielder Austin Meadows from the Tampa Bay Rays in exchange for infielder Isaac Paredes and a 2022 competitive round B draft pick. Whatever, AJ, you know what that means. I don't even know what that means. I see 71st pick. That's all I know.
Yeah. So, look, let's take a deep breath because today baseball is back, baby. It
Mm-hmm.
is opening day. It is Thursday. It is opening day. MLB is kicking off. Now, the Tigers and the White Sox do not throw their first pitch until Friday, tomorrow. But man, oh man, it feels good to have baseball back. And the Tigers, man, when I saw the news come down about the Austin Meadows trade, I was like, yes, finally, we have a move that was made and a good move. And
See,
okay,
there's that
true,
Javi Baez hate again.
huh? Now get out of here. Get out of here.
Finally, we have a move that's been made. That's what you said.
No, a shrewd. Okay, let me back up and let me say a shrewd move that has been made because truthfully, when Meadows was released from the Pirates and went to Tampa Bay, that was the year that the Tigers should have gotten him. So they're 2 years late on getting him, but at least
Okay.
they got him. And listen, is Meadows the best player in the MLB? No,
No.
he's not. But he's 26 years old. He's
Mhm.
cheap, and he still has team control for a couple of years.
Yep.
Now, what's being missed in this whole situation, Matt? Yes, Riley Green went down with a fractured foot, out 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, but they don't make this move, in my opinion, if Derek Hill is also not on the 10-day IL with a hamstring strain, because they had players that were ready, Hill, Victor Reyes, Grossman, and Baду, that could have handled the outfield while Green got back, and then they optioned Hill or Reyes, right? But
Right.
Hill's already now down too. Plus, you think about it, Meadows is sitting there in Tampa Bay. Isaac Paredes, he has no place on this team at all because his bat is not forcing him into the lineup. He's not going to stick at shortstop. They've tried him at second base. That hasn't worked out. And he's not going to beat out Jamer Candelario at third base. So why not use that young player to get someone like a Meadows? It was a shrewd move. And listen, there is an article that came out by W.G. Brady on DSN today about how Avila thanked Chris Ilitch for letting the move happen. Listen,
this is AJ.
You read that report, and Avila said Chris's statement was, if you and AJ think that you need him, go get him.
Oh, they included you. That's nice.
Not me, AJ Hinch, but whatever. That just still pissed me off because I'm like, do you not understand? Like, oh, if you think you need him, go get him. Like, thanks for your blessing, but like your dad would have been like, we need this guy.
Like
go
Gary
get him.
Buck stuff right there. That sounds brilliant. Listening to his coaches and say, wait, you need him? We'll get him.
Listen, and I appreciate that. So I'm not gonna hate on Ilitch. Like, I appreciate that he like gave his blessing, right, for it to happen. But my goodness, like, what kind of like lip service are we doing here, Al? Why do we have to say, I know Chris got raked through the mud with the whole competitive bargaining agreement. So let me make sure that he gets some, good press and say he signed off on it. Of course he signed off on it, you dingbat. Of course he did. It's his team.
Maybe they had a conversation first, though, about it.
Well, of course they had to have a conversation because they're either paying Isaac Paredes like minor league money or they're paying Meadows $4 million. So are you going to spend the boss's money? Like, of course. And knowing the penny pincher that he is, you had to probably be like, hey, just so you know, this is a good thing. And he'd be like, oh, okay. Right? So I don't know. It was a brilliant move. I love the fact that now we have a left-handed hitting power bat in our lineup. It's really kind of catapulted the Tigers to like near wild card contenders and like shadow sleeper, like maybe could contend for a lucky division win. But I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting, and baseball is back, and I cannot wait till Friday night.
So let's talk Meadows real quick because I want to know which Meadows we're getting. Because in 2019, he was an all-star, hit almost 300, 291, had 33 home runs.
Sure.
The COVID-shortened season, we can ignore that. It's a rough season to try and play and stay in rhythm. It's just something you can completely ignore. But his strikeout rate was really, really high, about 33%. Then last year, his batting average went up from the COVID year to 234. He still had 27 home runs, and his strikeouts dropped back down to about 21%. So a lot lower than the COVID year. So, and he gets bat on the ball a lot. A lot of flyouts to go with his home runs. Loves this era of that launch angle, man. He's part of that era, and so he's launching balls high, sometimes high and far, but usually just high.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about a career 822 OPS player, right? On base plus slugging, I love it. Which guy are we getting? I don't really know, right? Because if we take the COVID season out of that, like he's his first year in Pittsburgh, he hit 292. It was only in 154 at bats. Looks like he had a shortened 20. He got traded in 2018 or released in 2018. Had 24 at bats, so he hit what was his total in? I'm trying to do this real quick. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. 2019, he went to 291.
That's his all-star year.
Yeah, that's his all-star year. It looks like the batting average, maybe he's kind of gotten into that launch angle happiness, right? That led to the uptick in strikeouts in 2020. But I mean, drew 59 walks last season. I want to look at his walk rate real quick. Because I just think that he's hitting the ball hard about half the time, right? For his career, he has a hard hit rate of 42%, which is great. He walked 10% of the time last year, which was his second highest ever.
77% contact rate.
Say what?
77% contact rate.
Yeah, I mean, putting the ball in play, and that's the modus operandi of all baseball hitters, right? Is you put the ball in play and you see what's going to happen. Him walking at 10% of the time last year, just a tick down from the COVID season of 11%. Like that's I'll take a walk. I mean, that's why his on base percentage is up so high. But what I also love to see is, I mean, he's an up the middle kind of hitter, right? 51.7% hits the ball to the center of the field, 30% pull rate, 17% opposite rate. So like he can spray the ball if he needs to too. And in Comerica, with him having a 30% pull rate and a 51% up the middle rate, Triple's alley is wide open for him in right center field. So I think it's a great addition. A great addition. You get Riley Green back, and you've got Green, Baddoo, Grossman, and Meadows.
Yep.
Reyes is the odd man out, unless he just like lights the world on fire in these next 6 to 8 weeks. But I mean, it really, really shores up that lineup. I think it's going to be a great thing and an exciting thing, because here's the thing, right? We're on the other side of the mountain now. Now the team is only going up. We're making moves to get better. We're signing people to get better. So we're on the threshold of an exciting time in Detroit Tigers baseball.
All right, well, let's talk about that Detroit Tigers baseball, because last season, the first with AJ Hinch, they started the season 9-24. Not great.
Not great.
And then they followed it up with a 68-61 record the rest of the way. So with how they went from not great to really good, with a bunch of players that were still growing, still not that good, dealing with injuries, brand new manager, and now a whole bunch of offseason moves. I know we lost some bullpen positioning this last week or so, lost some important bullpen pitchers, but do the Tigers have what they need to steal the AL Central crown? We're looking at an opening day lineup.
Yeah.
Torkelson's in it, looks like. So Baddoo, Grossman, Baez, Candelario, Cabrera, Meadows, Scope.
Scope.
Sorry.
Scoop.
I always do that one. There's 2 O's in there, man. Why are you going to call yourself Scope? Torkelson and Barnhart.
Yeah, I mean, listen, do they have what they need? They're close. And I know that's not really an answer, but it's really going to be,
because look, the White Sox are supposed to win this division.
They're supposed to. They're expected to win it.
The Twins were running it for a couple years, and then last year they really, really, really fell off. Now the Twins made a bunch of moves to try to bounce back as well. But the White Sox were supposed to be the ones running this when you look at their pitching rotation, you look at their lineup. But the White Sox, look, you added A.J. Pollock. Good job. You really didn't do much. You lost one of your best pitchers. You really didn't address that by adding any other really great pitchers to the staff. You had a bunch of health issues that, definitely played a factor in,
lost Lance Lynn.
Yep.
Lost Lance Lynn.
The injury.
Right. So,
Kopech, innings, they lost, Rondon. The Kopech's on an inning restriction.
Yeah. And so here's the thing, right? Like, for the Tigers to take the AL Central crown, they're going to need a little bit of luck, in my opinion, because, and projections are just projections. We don't want to get they're not gospel, right? But USA Today had the White Sox at 12 games better than the Tigers this year. That's a lot to make up if they're really 12 games better. Had them only 3 games better or worse than the Twins. So I definitely think the Tigers will finish in second place. I don't think the Twins are going to. Yes, they've made some moves, right? They
lot of
brought
moves.
in.
A lot of
They
moves. Carlos
did.
Correa, Sonny Gray, Gary
Yeah.
Sanchez, Gio
Yeah.
Urshela. Like, they made a bunch of moves in the offseason.
But they also, like, Gio Urshela going to be okay. Gary Sanchez, not a great defensive catcher. And
don't forget, this is the bomb squad, baby. This is a home run hitting machine in Minnesota.
Yeah, in 2019, right? So they're a few years removed for that. They also, like, did they not? They traded Escobar down to the Braves last year, right? And so he was a very good player for them. They got rid of Donaldson. So I don't know.
Cruz.
Huh?
Got rid of Nelson Cruz.
Got rid of Nelson Cruz, which was like, I'm so glad that he's in the National League now and not in our division anymore, because I cannot stand when he plays the Tigers.
Yep.
I just don't like. They made a lot of moves, but did they get better? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and of course,
and trading away your ace is never. I don't ever recommend that.
No, but yes, they got better. They on paper got better from last year, because last year they weren't good.
No,
but
so bad.
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of question marks in Minnesota for me, and will they be competing for the AL Central? No, I really don't think so. The Guardians are the Guardians. They're just going to be. I mean, they signed Jose Ramirez to a 5-year contract extension today, which, I mean, good for them. You finally spent some money in free agency 3 days before the season started. But I don't know if the Twins actually got better. And so, do I think that all these names, these names look great on paper, but are they better than the lineup that the Tigers have constructed?
So you think out of the 5 teams in the Central, the Tigers have improved the most in the offseason?
Yeah,
you can't say it's going to be the Royals. You obviously don't believe it's the Guardians. You clearly just said you don't think it's the Twins, and the White Sox didn't do much. They've had a pretty good team, but they didn't do much to add to it.
I mean, yeah, but they got the White Sox did. I mean, they're going to get Jimenez back, which is huge, right?
Yeah, he only played 55 games last year.
He only paid right. So the
bigger one for me is Robert. It's Robert.
Yeah, it's Robert.
Right? Yeah, Luis Robert.
Both of them coming back is huge, and Robert's phenomenal, right?
So good,
and so is Jimenez.
567 slug while batting 338, an OPS plus of 155. Like, if this cat stays healthy, he's going to be a sneaky MVP pick
for sure. And so the White Sox are the cream of the crop when it comes to the division. But if you were to weigh equally, I think the moves that the Tigers and the Minnesota Twins made, I would much rather be a Tigers fan right now. And this is no homer bias, right? Because I've ripped.
Why would there be?
but like, I've ripped them when it was necessary to rip them. I would rather have the moves that the Tigers made than the Twins made, because at the trade deadline last year, right, trading Jose Barrios, getting rid of Escobar, right, then they trade Donaldson to get Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela, and then like they signed they trade for Sonny Gray. Like, it just seems like they're kind of operating in a way that's like, oh, we created this hole, so now we got to fix it, right? And now we're back and forth. Where the Tigers, and I know that it has been frustrating since 2015. But the Tigers literally were like, we need a catcher, we're going to trade for Tucker Barnhart. We need a shortstop, we're going to sign Javi Baez. Oh, our stud number 2 overall prospect, Riley Green, just went down with a 6 to 8 week foot fracture, and it's probably going to be more like 10 to 12 weeks with the rehab assignment and all that, right? And also our other, like, serviceable center field prospect in Derek Hill has gone down. We're going to go trade a blocked player for Austin Meadows. So, like, the moves that the Tigers have made, I mean, it shot them all the way up in the power rankings on MLB.com to like number 18, which is still 3rd in the AL Central, right?
Mhm.
But I think that there's a lot of on paper bias when you see names like Gary Sanchez, Sonny Gray, and all that because I mean, I don't know. There was a reason why the Yankees wanted Gary Sanchez out, right?
Mhm.
And so I just my gut tells me the Tigers are going to sit number 2 in the AL Central at the end of the season.
I hope you're right. I think it's gonna be a good battle between them and the Twins. I think the
Yeah,
White Sox are still gonna be an 8 to 10 game, lead in the
yeah.
division over everybody else, but I like the
And it
Tigers'
may not
chances
get the
to win.
double digits, to be honest with you, because I mean, if they're already starting to kind of catch the injury bug a little bit, I mean, things could go horribly wrong real quick for the White Sox.
Yeah, I mean, health is always,
Always.
always a factor. Assuming everyone stays healthy, I think the White Sox are gonna have anywhere from an 8 to 12 game lead on the division. Not guaranteeing it's double digits, but I
I'll
think
tell you what, though, the Tigers are going to be in first place come Sunday evening because they're about to be 2-1 after this weekend series.
I mean, the White Sox, if their bats ain't hitting, they're in trouble because their pitching staff right now to start the year does not look great.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. They did sign Johnny Cueto to a minor league contract, so we'll see if he breaks up.
Oh,
I know, big moves, big moves.
all right. Enough of that big white ball.
Okay,
Go to the small white ball.
yeah, let's
It's
go to it.
Masters weekend. 86 Masters
Uh,
starting this Thursday. And the big news that's been percolating all week is that one Eldrick Tiger Woods is going to be playing, God willing, finishing
yeah,
the Masters because that knee is no joke. And the fact that's, 17 months, 15, 17 months after that horrific crash in California, the fact that he kept his leg, is able to come back, and is returning to professional golf this week is just incredible. My
it is.
big thing is, you stubborn, prideful fool. Just give the man a segue. Just let him roll his ass down the course so he doesn't have to hurt the knee. He's not in a cart, so he's not sitting. Just give him a segue. But no, Tiger's too prideful for that. I got to walk the course just like everybody else, even though my knee looks like a giant question mark, literally, figuratively, and always.
I just love the fact that at the press conference, they're like, Tiger, you don't enter a tournament unless you think you can win. Do you think you can win the Masters this week? And he simply says, I do.
Yep.
I do. And like just the cojones to like
It's Tiger.
it is. And I
Tiger.
think that's why we love him. But it's one of those situations. It's like I hope he's there on Saturday. And I hope that he's
Oh,
there on
God, yeah.
Sunday because I don't want to see him try and push himself beyond the limits of what he's able to do to try for that, moment, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and then hurt himself and then he's just done because I feel like he's like literally towing the edge of a cliff and the next injury is going to push him over into that abyss. So I don't know. It's gonna be. I'm so excited. Like I'm on spring break this week. I can watch the Masters tomorrow. I can watch the Masters on Friday. I haven't been able to do that in a few years, and I'm just gonna like sit back and listen to the fake bird sounds come through my TV and just chill. And it's gonna be amazing because I know golf is not like extremely popular, but there's something special about Masters Week.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
just something entirely like I don't know. I don't know if it's like bygone eras coming into the current day or what, but it's incredible.
I
It's
mean, media
incredible.
does a fantastic job of playing it up.
They do for
They just
sure.
they make it feel the most special out of the majors.
For sure. Because
And
it is.
it's the only major that continues to be at the same place. Everywhere
Right.
else bounces around. But media, from the music they chose for it to the announcers they choose to talk about it,
The
and
jib
then
man's going, "Hello, friends.
there's
On
just also
Magnolia Way."
the ridiculous history about it. Jack
Oh,
Nicklaus winning his sixth and final at 46 years old. A 21-year-old Tiger Woods in his first professional major, lapping the field by 12 strokes and
mhm.
setting a course record or tournament record at 18 under. There's
Yep.
just Tiger's comeback after everything in 2019, and you get to see the young cats now understand what it's like to play with a Tiger crowd, and seeing every single one of these young greats crumble under the pressure of playing with a Tiger crowd.
Was his Masters really 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
because so remember, the 2020 Masters
Right,
happened
was in the
in November,
fall. Right.
and then 2021 quickly after in April.
Man, I swear this whole week I thought he was defending champ.
No, he's not. Hideki Matsui is,
Yes, I know, I know.
and Hideki Matsui, I mean, man's an absolute god in Japan now.
Right, for sure.
That Masters win, and it was a very hard fought, earned Masters win last year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited for this weekend. I think it's gonna be great. I'm pumped to see what Tiger can do, and like I said, I hope and I think, as we're gonna talk about here in a second,
Mhm.
I definitely think he's there on Saturday, and I definitely think he's there on Sunday.
Okay.
It would be just like Tiger to be sitting top 10 Saturday evening.
Very much would.
You know what I
That's
mean?
one of the beauties of any major is that you are now exempt to always come back and play the majors. And so
For
the
sure.
fun thing with the Masters, one of the things I was talking about with it, with it being so special about it being the same course every time, is you get to see older greats that maybe younger generations don't know, like a Freddie Couples, who
Right.
won the Masters in 1992. It's a long time ago. But if you go back just 5, 6 years ago and look at the leaderboard after 36 holes, Freddie Couples is right there.
Yep.
So getting to play a course that you know,
And that's the key.
and this is one of the reasons Tiger will have a chance to maybe catch Jack, because he gets to play this course every year.
And that is the key, right? Winning Augusta is more about experience
Mm-hmm.
and being able to keep the ball straight than it is about how far you hit it. You know, the best
After they lengthen the course thanks to Tiger.
right, but like the key at Augusta is your iron play and your ball striking 100% of the time, right? Your ability to hit appropriate lag putts. Understanding that you need to take your medicine from 10 feet and lag it from even 10, 15 feet to make sure that you make your par. Like, and that comes with experience, knowing that everything breaks towards Rays Creek,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're a rookie out there, you may forget where Rays Creek is and play a hole the wrong way.
Yep.
And that is I cannot wait until it comes on tomorrow and I can just turn the TV on and sit and chill and be like, here we go.
All right, so John Rahm is the favorite
Mm-hmm.
at 10-1 odds. Right behind him is JT, Justin Thomas. DJ, Dustin Johnson, 2020 Masters champion. He has
But
5
missed the
top
cut
10s.
in 2021.
Yes, he did. But he has 7 top 10s in his last 13 starts, so he's playing pretty well. He's 16-1. Scotty Scheffler, the new number 1 in golf, is also 16-1. Cameron Smith, the recent PGA champ, also 16-1. And then you got Colin Morikawa at 20-1. So those are the favorites.
Okay.
And then, you start dropping off after that a little bit. Big stories coming into it. Rory McIlroy, if he wins it, he completes the Grand Slam. And while he has 6 top 10 finishes in his last 8 Masters, he's also finished 21st or worse in 2 of his last 3 as well. So maybe that thought process of completing the Grand Slam gets to in the later stages. Who knows? But he's definitely one to watch. If you're looking for Tiger Woods numbers, it's 40-1. Not the worst odds. Not, make a little money on that.
So
Bet yourself
Matt,
$10, win 400.
let's play a little game.
Okay.
Let's do this. We'll compete against each other in the Masters here. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna each pick 3 players.
Gotcha.
2 of them can be like obvious choices. One of them needs to be a flyer.
Wild card.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
At the end of the week, we'll total up 2 of their scores to see who scored the lowest.
All right.
And we'll come up with some kind of bet, right? Like, I don't know if we want to come up with that on the spot or some kind of,
We'll figure it out. Luckily we record our next show on Sunday after the Masters is done.
Yeah.
So it'll be very fresh in our minds to discuss.
It'll be very fresh. Actually, here's what we do. We bet around the golf on it. That's the natural thing.
There we go. Perfect.
So the winner of this Masters competition will pay for a round whenever you're in town.
Wait, hang on. You mean the loser?
The loser. The
All right, I
winner
was
will
gonna say,
get
'cause you
paid
tell me the
for.
winner has to pay for the round of golf. I'm about to pick 3 guys you ain't never heard of before. As much as I love betting, I'm gonna take free golf.
Yeah, no, so the winner will be
Gets a
paid
free
for
round.
by the loser when
All
you
right.
come into town. All right, that's our bet.
So since you came up with this,
Okay,
you pick first.
I'm taking JT.
You're taking you son of
Justin Thomas, man. I mean,
I
listen,
know.
he
I know. You know what?
he's
I'm gonna take Colin. I'll take Morikawa.
Morikawa. All right, so I then am going to take Rory. He's been playing well, and I'm going to take Rory to complete the Grand Slam.
All right. I'm gonna take DJ.
Okay. So now we're taking our flyers.
Yeah. Okay. So here. Let's go from what? What do you want to say? Plus 5,000 count as flyer odds.
Whoa.
So 50 to 1.
Okay. Yeah, 50.
Do you want to go higher? You want to go 65 to 1?
Go 50 to 1.
All right. So here are the names that are 50 to 1. Paul
Okay.
Casey, Adam Scott, Russell Henley, Sung Jae Im, Mark Leishman, Tony Finau, Tommy Fleetwood is 55, Billy Horschel's 55, Siwoo Kim 65, Justin Rose 65, Bubba 65, Patrick Reed 65. Any of these names tickle your fancy?
Give me Tony Finau.
I knew you was going to grab Tony Finau. All right. You know what? I'm going to take Max Homa.
Okay.
Big long shot. 80 to 1.
What's Webb Simpson at?
Webb Simpson's up there. He is 100 to 1.
That's what I thought.
Plus
I
10,000.
thought about taking him for a second, but I was like, no, if you're going to give me Finau at whatever his odds are,
Yeah.
I'll take Finau. Because, I mean, he's,
I know. He's a fun young cat to
3
watch.
top 10s and 4 starts at Augusta. He's been, lousy a little bit this season, but I just, give me Finau, JT, and Rory, and I think I'm going to be playing free golf when we see each other.
No, we're going to find out. And we're going to find out next cast, which will be coming out on Sunday. Well, we're recording it on Sunday. So let me get rid of that caption that's in the way.
There you go.
Got to remind you before we sign off to like and subscribe wherever you can find us: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Episodes on YouTube as well as on DetroitSportsNation.com. He's AJ Riley. I'm Matt Basson. Thank you for hanging out with us on Straight Shootin', and we'll see you guys again real soon.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a